Welcome, friends, to the Beaver Dam, and we are going to have a damn good time, or maybe not. We shall see. You decide by the end of this video. With the new era battles, we're going to be talking about them, and we are also joined by the ghost of Christmas Troopers on Break. Troopers on Break, how you doing, my friend?
You know, I am a ghost because CG's making me fade away recently with this current era. I reappear and then I gotta disappear again, so I'm surviving.
Fair. So, we got some good news and we have some bad news, a little bit more bad news than good news, unfortunately. And we have some medium news that I'm a little curious about. And we didn't really get any clarification in today's post, but we're going to start with the good news. The good news is Barbarossa did get us a little bit of a gift. He showed off tier 2 being able to do it with a gear 11 temple guard, so we're looking at being able to do tier 1 and tier 2 versus how this last one went, because the last one, it was really iffy. We ended up with just, you know, how long did you spend, Troopers, trying to do these tiers?
Tier 2, it took me about an hour and a half. Tier 3, it took me 4 hours and I still couldn't beat it.
Yeah, so like, I'm excited for this. I think this is a great fix. I think this is something that I really definitely appreciate, and this is like the shining piece that I'm seeing from CG right now about this era battle, and I appreciate it. But as for like the medium news, and this actually might be part of the medium news, honestly, the good and the bad here. We do have a little bit of a piece in the data mine as well as in the post that was just put out. Your opponents have increased stats for this battle that are not represented in the planar obtainable version, depending on what characters you bring in. Now, this is a common sentence that you see in a lot of these events and stuff, where they'll say your opponents have increased stats for this battle that are not represented in player obtainable versions. But the depending on what characters you bring in is a completely new phrase. And makes me curious if they're just calling out whether or not you get Depa and whether or not you get yourself the Temple Guard and you're like pushing through tier 1 and tier 2 with those, or if it's like as you bring in other characters, it's going to change the stats, increase the difficulty, and that kind of thing. There's a lot of implications here. What do you think, Troopers on Break? Like, what are your thoughts on what the implications could be for this?
Yeah, my biggest fear is that they're going to punish you if you're bringing in those higher tier characters, right? So they're allowing, I'm not sure if you hinted at this as well, they're allowing you to use Jocasta Nu as well.
It says it right here, also allow Jocasta Nu.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they're going to say, hey, oh, now that Jocasta Nu's in battle, let's up the damage on Sidious in this battle, right? Versus, oh, hey, you have Temple Guard and Depa, all right, he's not going to have as much offense, right? And so that's my big concern right there. Maybe it's going to be scaling on an aspect of, oh, you have more characters, oh, it's going to scale up, but it's going to be easier. I'm just hoping it's not going to be more challenging the more tiers you can do and the more characters you have at that tier.
Yeah, I think it sounds worrying. It kind of remains to be seen. We'll see what happens. This could just be the balancing to make it so that way Depa and Temple Guard can both be able to take it out, because, you know, they're going to have very different kits, obviously, and different roles in their teams. So if you have one or the other, you might be able to get it through tier 1 and tier 2 just because of this thing. That's my hope. That's my plea to CG, but it's a strong possibility this could have some pretty hefty ramifications overall. And, you know, speaking of some hefty ramifications, you got the tier 1, you know, it just requires Temple Guard or Depa Billaba, and you can see here allowed is also Jedi Master Mace Windu, or Bamf as we're calling him affectionately, you know, BA Mother Effer. You got Jocasta Nu is also allowed, and tier 2, you know, 5-star, and then once again they're allowed. Tier 3, you got the 7-star, so we're basically on the same page as the last era battle, which, you know, is solid. Then you got the Relic 5 and Relic 5 for Temple Guard, and then allowed with these guys. But then you start to get to tier 5, required Jedi Master Mace Windu. and then allowed is everyone else, which means you have to have the character, which means we can't have the whole you spend 3 hours and you swing above your weight class and beat tier 5 with your relic 7s. Nope, you have to have Jedi Master Mace Windu. So you're completely shutting people out of tier 5 through 7 by making it require Jedi Master Mace Windu, which I don't like this.
It's dirty on their part. I'm just gonna be blatant honest.
Yeah, this feels really scummy. I do think to a certain extent, like, if the era battles were around more often, I think we'd be more fine with this. But the fact that they are so limited and that they're not coming around, which we'll talk about in just a moment, makes it so it's much harder to justify this. Because, like, sure, if you're getting Temple Guard and you're getting Depa Bilaba to, or Balaba, however you say her name, get them out to Relic 9, you're obviously going for Mace Windu. And, like, you know, you're going to be able to get the Mace Windu and run this. But this means that we're going to have 4 era battles where we're not going to be able to run tier 5 through 7 at all. And that doesn't feel good at all.
It just feels as if they're really gating you. Like, it feels as if the creative, the fun part, like when Anno would unlock C3PO with low gear Ewoks, like you said, punching above your weight class to get an event done. That feeling of satisfaction of, yes, I did it, and this is how I did it, XYZ. It's, oh, no, you have to have this. And then go ahead, you can throw them out. And the thing that I do want to point out is my biggest fear is for newer players coming in. Let's say they blitz out Mace. Hey, what if you need Jocasta Nu in order to beat these battles?
Like,
along with Mace Windu?
Yeah, I'm like, going in on this.
The running joke is they said that she's a lifter for Mace Windu. She's the lifter for the era battle for Mace Windu.
Yeah, I'm pushing this in, like 100%. I'm pushing this in. I've already got the clone, so I might as well finish out the era. And so I'm going to go in, and you guys unfortunately made me, with our goals during our last Damathon, I'm going to have to Relic 9 my Jocasta Nu. For those of you who don't know, Jocasta Nu is my least favorite character in all of Star Wars, so I am not excited for that. But, you know, I'm getting a Jocasta Nu up, but I don't have her because I don't care for her, so I didn't go for a day 1 conquest unit. It's the first one since, like, Bane that I haven't gotten day 1. And so I might be going into these era battles completely screwed, and I may be locked out even though I'm spending money on CG. I'm not even going to be able to beat, like, tier 5. Yeah, even though I got my Jedi Master Mace Windu because I don't have a Jocasta Nu. And so this just does not feel good, and especially we mentioned it before, the cadence. So there's the initial cadence, so you know you have your marquee, then you have 2 era battles, you have your marquee, you have 2 era battles, marquee, 2 era battles, so on and so forth. And then we're going to get, you know, all of them ran like as the journey guide comes out, right? So basically we're going to get a couple more towards the end of this event, getting some more of the Nightfall as well as this era. But then at that point, it's going to, after the initial cadence shown above, they'll be removed from rotation, will be subject to come back during special occasions or events. At best, we're looking at like every 3 months at the end of each era, we might get a rerun. At worst, we're looking at like they bring them back for May the 4th and the November anniversary. Like that just doesn't feel good for the amount of effort people are putting in, especially with the changes to not being able to complete tier 5 through tier 7 without having BAMF in your roster. Like, I don't know how to feel about this by any means.
I do. I feel horrible. I want a refund.
Right.
I want a refund. Like, if this is their answer to assault battles and them rotating these assault battles and keeping the old ones, I'm not a fan of it, right? Because what is wrong with us having more events that give us rewards?
Yeah.
What is wrong with that? But the moment there's an error where we're getting more rewards than we should through the era battles, they're right on it and they're fixing it as soon as they can. It doesn't feel great. Either from, and this is coming from 2 people, I want to keep in mind to the viewers, these are 2 people talking to you that are getting Mace Windu. And this is how we're feeling as well. So I just wanted to point that out.
Yeah, I feel like whether you're a whale, whether you're free to play, like I think they helped the free to play a bit with the whole shards at the beginning, with the stuff that you're getting in tier 1 and tier 2, and I think that's an excellent thing for marquees, and especially going forward. And additionally, with the changes with the balancing of this one from what we see from Barbarossa, it still remains to be seen in game, but like it looks good and looks solid for free to play players. But still, like, the free-to-play players are only going to be able to get so many shards, because then it's going to come around once every 6 months, so you're not going to get, like, any shards, and so you really won't be able to, like, you know, passively farm these characters either from the era battle at all, so it's not even going to help the free-to-play players that much past the initial runs of the era battles. And then, you know, for the whales, it just feels bad in general for all this stuff. And like CG takes care of its whales. They just put out an update to fix Lord Vader like the day after they found out there was a problem with the Lord Vader team and was being beaten by things it shouldn't be beaten by. So like, I don't know. It's weird that they do something like that and then they're just like turn around and they're like, you know what? Screw our whales. Why do we want to take care of our whales? So like, whether you're free to play or whether you're a whale, I feel like it's harming.
I'm speechless. You said it perfectly.
I don't know. From start to finish, I feel like the era battles, it's another indication of the overall of just the entire era system, as solid as it is, for like rewards and stuff from the era pass. Anything on CG side, they've just been dropping the ball. I feel like they're like down by like 6 developers, that they really need to hire like 6 more developers and they'll get on track and be fine. But for now, I feel like they're just frantically trying to put out fire after fire. You know, Bad Batch not having an event, the raid feeling like it's just kind of out of nowhere and that they're throwing things at the wall until something sticks. Like, it's just, everything feels very wonky, and now the pirates coming in for the raid as well, super wonky.
It won't even be released when the raid is out.
Yeah, and maybe that'll push out one of our free-to-play teams, which would hurt my soul so bad. So,
and one big point that I want to point out is in the initial era post, and I have it pulled up, so I'll read it directly. Is Conquest characters, they said originally, Conquest characters will continue to be released at their current cadence, but are not tied to an era. While occasionally Conquest characters line up with an era's theme, they often will not. As of right now, CG's not sticking to their word to that either, because right now we are 2 for 2 with the Conquest units being tied and, dare I say, almost forced for us to get, if we want to get the full viability out of the powerful character, as they hinted with SM33. He's going to be tied to a powerful leader in the next era, which we have confirmation from that post that you were showing in the calendar. At the end, it says Journey Guide event. So, and then Mace Windu requiring Jocasta Nu. It seems as if I just can't take them for their word, right?
Yeah, and I don't...
Go ahead.
I don't like the idea of lifters for non-GL units. I am fine. Drop Cat for, you know, JMK. Drop Ezra for Ahsoka or Rey or whoever you want to consider him for. Drop these lifter characters for GLs, 100%. But if every single team going forward has to require a lifter to work, this isn't gonna be good, and I'm worried because we're 2 for 2 for how that's going to work. And on top of that, to throw another just, you know, little thing for those of you who missed it, in the data mine on April 1st, no, it was not an April Fool's joke, PvE datacrons were data mined, and specifically raid datacrons were data mined. So there's a high possibility, unless they scrap the project, which they are scrapping a lot, so, you know, we can pray to RNGesus for it, but there's a high possibility that this raid is going to have datacrons associated with it as well. That there's a possibility that maybe the focus datacrons coming up soon, or something along those lines, we'll get some focus datacrons specifically for the raid, which would suck as well, especially if they're not modifications. You know, if it's just to increase your score and your score can already hit max, like with the normal team without the datacron, great. But if it's balanced for the datacrons, that's just another step to the raid that I'm not going to be happy about, and it's going to be really rough.
Man, the thing that I'm most concerned about is, as of right now, we already have 20 units confirmed. They said if it's a 5v5 raid, right? Which like Naboo, it's gonna be 5 teams. We already have a Jedi Vanguard team. We already have the new Bad Batch team, Dark Side clones with Tarkin, as well as they also confirmed at least one pirate team for the raid. That is 20 units. On average, raids have 30 units, and you use 25 of them. My biggest fear is the idea is they are blocking, or may I say, putting barriers for newer players and even mid-game players from engaging with this end-game content for the get Mark III currency and stuff like that, which I don't know if it's going to be for the Lightspeed tokens that were rumored as well. I'm not sure, but you can give your thoughts on that as well.
That's the thing, is I don't think that Mark III raid tokens should be considered endgame content. I don't think they should. This is a quality of life thing that is vitally important to anyone's roster. Relic 8s are not new. They are forever old, and everyone needs them. We need them for Executor. We need them for most GLs. This is vital to people's rosters, and if you lock us out of getting Mark III, I don't know how many of you guys remember the beginning of Naboo, but like most guilds couldn't finish the first crate of Naboo, and all of a sudden everyone's panicking because now no one can get Relic 8 materials. And so like even high up guilds are struggling with it. And you can see a huge push in this era to get some of the new teams because of the fear of that. And I think it might just get worse. I hope that they give us an extended roster. We get like 40 characters for this one. They're smart about it. They give us some free to play love. I really hope they do, because I don't want... Shoot, let's hear the solution. I do have a solution
that is an easy solution. It would be an easy layup. Allow the unaligned force user tag into this raid. There are many characters: Seer Junda, Terran Malkos, Cal Kestis, Commander Ahsoka Tano, Inquisitors under that tag that would fit perfectly, more canonically than pirates, into this raid. That would make sense, and those are characters that are, I would say, a vast majority of people have. With the Cal Kestis requirements, there have been multiple occasions of bonus drops for those characters. A lot of people have been pushing for Cal Kestis. Those are double drop characters. Inquisitors, they just had a Lightspeed bundle for the Inquisitors. So I think
that's the one that like everyone's hoping for, is just give us the Inquisitorius. Even just the Inquisitorius is a high barrier to entry, but at least it's a barrier to entry that a lot of people have due to just guild farms and a Lightspeed bundle. I would love for the Inquisitors to be required. It would be something that would actually, I would appreciate. But yeah, unaligned force users, there's a lot here that could canonically fit, and I feel like we should have things like gas and the clones. You know, give us some more canonically fitting stuff for this. I'd appreciate that a ton. But I don't know, they're kind of going in weird ways. So I don't know. We'll see. Throw in the comment section what factions you want to see coming into the raid, what you guys think about this information. I'm assuming you're not excited for most of it, but hey, looks like they balanced tier 1 and tier 2 correctly. So
yeah. Take a step forward, 20 miles back.
Yeah, here's the hoping. I'm just saying, guys. When someone blew the whistle, when Datacrons were coming out, originally Datacrons were going to require these materials that you guys see here. They were going to require bronzium wiring, carbonite circuit boards, and someone blew the whistle and posted a screenshot of what they were planning, and CG walked it back and changed how Datacrons worked. Hopefully, if we have enough of an outcry, we can get some things walked back if things get really bad. But I don't want things to get really bad. CG, please just fix your game.
We've been asking that since, what, 2019, 2020? That hasn't happened. But my final question to you, Beaver, as of this moment, with all the news we've received, what is your rating of the era as of this moment?
Compared to all of our eras up to now, it's, I mean, the second best era we've gotten so far. And I think that includes our pirate era coming up next, but that's not a high bar to put out there. With Ahsoka, of course, the first era being the best, just because it was solidly run, didn't have any glitches and that type of stuff. But even then, it's I don't know. It's shaping up to be like, I really want it to be a 10 out of 10 because it's Revenge of the Sith, but it's shaping up to be like a 6 out of 10 for me.
I'm giving it a 4 because of how they've gone back on their word. All the Erebao Nightmare, people not even being able, them releasing an event without people even being able to complete the tiers that they were allowed to compete in. On top of them throwing in pirates and stuff like that, it's them going back on their word about conquest units. They're not. I'm not in good terms right now with their trust.
The fact that on Nightfall, I tried like 4 times and I just could not 3-star the Relic 5 one with my full 4 clones at Relic 5. Could not 3-star it. Like, you have to get the best RNG ever, and it's ridiculous. So I don't know. I'm gonna leave it at a 6 out of 10. I'm leaving that open to bounce down or bounce up, but it's looking like it might bounce down. But thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully this informed you of some stuff and let you guys know what's happening, because things are crazy in Galaxy of Heroes right now. But thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you for giving a damn.